Hello, I'm Matthew Gerron, Museum Curator at the University of Dundee, and welcome to the latest in a series of short films in which I talk about some of the highlights of the university museum collections. Now, one of the most important events that we missed out on because of the lockdown was the annual degree show at Duncan of Jordanstone College of Art and Design. Well, of course, the wonderful work that this year's graduating students have produced is available to see online, and if you haven't already done so, I would urge you to spend time having a good look through it all. But I thought what I'd do just now is show you a few highlights of some of the pieces that we've acquired from previous degree shows for the college collection. So I'm going to focus on fine art and the related subject areas of art and philosophy and time-based art that are all grouped together in what's called contemporary art practice. And so I've chosen one piece from each of the last 10 degree shows. So let's start back in 2010, and this rather haunting image by Kimberly Stewart called For Correspondence. This is one of a series of paintings inspired by old family photographs that are actually made with dust. So she covered the canvas in spray paint and then built up layers of dust using pre-cut stencils to create this extraordinary effect. Her show was accompanied by this wonderful quotation from the writer and cultural historian Celeste Olalquiaga. Belonging to the outside, the exterior, the street, dust constantly creeps into the sacred arena of private spaces as a reminder that there are no impermeable boundaries between life and death. As it sticks to our fingertips, dust propels a vague state of retrospection, carrying us on its supple wings. A messenger of death, dust is the signature of lost time. Our second piece from 2011 is this work by Tammy O'Neill. So, as you might be able to tell, it's an embroidery hoop with a piece of patterned fabric on it, and that immediately conjures up ideas of genteel ladies of centuries past. But the text that's been embroidered on it reads, "Climb me like a mountain." For her degree show, Tammy created a series of these hoops, all with text or imagery relating to modern day issues of women's identity, including gender politics, body insecurity, and sexual aggression. By bringing the visuals and materials of the past into a modern context, the artist hopes to help us think about and understand our present. In 2012, we bought this large-scale work by Lisa Scrimger. Lisa made a series of portrait paintings which she titled La Souillure, meaning the tainted. She wanted to question ideas of beauty and ugliness, disfigurement and difference. The subjects of her paintings, many of which are self-portraits, have been rendered unrecognisable. As Lisa says, they become mere whispers of their former identities, exposing them to prejudice and stigmatised perceptions. These women are no longer idealised, their human exteriors no longer conform to their contemporaries. The only way in which the viewer can penetrate through these disguises is to look into the eyes, in which they try to contemplate the vulnerability, trying to understand the image before them. In this way, the paintings are seductive, working on the viewer to convey the alienation that exists within them. The silent stillness of the paintings echoes the striking loneliness of the figures, each contained within their frame. And as well as the work we acquired for the college collection, another 4 from the series were purchased for the medical school and are now on permanent display in the Jackie Wood Centre at Ninewells. Well, I've selected another painting from 2013. This is a large circular piece by Samantha Gary, whose work explores some of the crossovers between art and science, as well as sourcing inspiration from traditional holistic medicine. Her works explore the shared natural patterns that exist at both microcosm and macrocosm level, from cellular growth to planetary constellations. This piece looks at first like a diagram of lunar landscapes, but also uses illustrations of acupuncture points and spiritual ideas of energy flow. Our next piece from 2014 is a photograph by Tiff Finlay. Her work was inspired by music, and in particular the role played by jazz, blues and soul music in the American Civil Rights Movement. Her degree show used imagery inspired by Blue Note records, and for her photographs she restaged images of African Americans from the 1960s in modern-day Dundee. This photograph was taken in Effie's Cafe in the Cowgate. From 2015, I've chosen this video piece by Lucy Rachel called Mother Father. The film focuses on the artist's parents, documenting the fundamental change that took place in their relationship when, after being together for 5 years, her father came out as transgender.
When I told Carol that I was trans, or transvestite as I would have used the term then, I brought it all up, and she was curious to know where I'd got my clothes from. She knew that I wasn't wearing anything of hers because of our size difference, but I did admit to using her makeup, and she did ask me not to use it in future, so I would have to buy my own. And then I think also the penny dropped as to why I had an interest in makeup and had bought her lipsticks and nail varnishes.
Of course, this is an incredibly personal and intimate story, and in Lucy's own words, she was overwhelmingly aware of the voyeuristic nature of recording it. I strive to hold a thoughtful balance between expression and exposure, she says, to protect those involved with a poignant yet informed response. The film was accompanied by an artist book, which we also acquired. We move on to printmaking for our 2016 selection, which is this screen print by Christian Thomason. Christian was deeply engaged with Buddhism and created a series of bold graphic prints with text derived from elements of Zen literature. He used strong colours to establish an emotional setting for each work and combined symbolic imagery with lettering made using hand-cut stencils, deliberately forcing the viewer to spend time deciphering it. This print, one of two that we acquired, reads, "Let go and hold tight, she has 10,000 arms." This comes from a story about the Buddhist figure Kanzeon, who represents compassion, and whose name means "she who hears the cries of suffering in the world." Christian explains that upon her mortal death she moved towards paradise, but when she heard the anguished cries of the living that were in pain, she turned back from eternal bliss to rejoin us and to work tirelessly to bring about an end to our pains. To help her with her task, she was granted thousands of extra arms. For 2017, I've chosen another video work, but a very different one, called Glitch in My Dreams by Zoe Hodgid. It's an attempt to capture a sense of memory through fading or disintegrating images. Zoe says, "My relationship with memory, the process of remembering and forgetting, is a powerful aspect of my work. How it can be elusive and difficult to grasp. What is shown on screen rarely becomes apparent. The shapes and thick blocks almost mould together a series of illusionist figures, repetitively replaying in mind space." My 2018 choice is this extraordinary cabinet of sculptures by Rachel Mccready. Her work explores both the physical and the psychological nature of our uneasiness with examining the human body. She uses everyday materials to make her sculptures, including wax, tights, balloons and foam packaging. The familiar yet disturbing biomorphic forms provoke a strong reaction in the viewer, who might be both attracted and repulsed at the same time. And finally, we return to painting for our 2019 selection, this gorgeous large-scale oil and acrylic piece by Lichia Perla, simply called Pink. Lichia works intuitively, using painting as a form of escape, as she says, a way to create a free space to help encourage impulsive creative freedom that I don't otherwise find in my own reality. She creates her art by layering a combination of different paint types and removing paint through rubbing and sanding, as well as adding new layers. So I hope that small selection has given you an idea of the range of different media, processes and subjects that the Duncan of Jordanstone College collection encompasses, all produced by our amazing students in fine art and contemporary art practice. And of course we have lots more in animation, illustration, jewellery, textiles and so on, but that will have to wait for another time. So I hope you found that interesting, and don't forget to check out this year's incredible talent on the Graduate Showcase website. Bye for now.